Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by Jack Hagan and the rest of the NCTV crew live from the New Canaan High School gym. And we are in for a excellent FCAC matchup, Jack. We have the 4-2 New Canaan Rams, who haven't beaten Greenwich in over 9 years, up against the 4-1, as I just mentioned, Greenwich Cardinals. Jack, this team, this New Canaan Ram team that is, has to be highly motivated in this one to beat Greenwich, a team that's had their number for nearly a decade. How motivated do you think they are?
First of all, let me say, Ian, thank you for having me here.
Thanks for
It's
coming.
a treat to be on live with NCTV 78. And regards to the question, yes, of course, the Lady Rams are really going to have to fight to turn the tide around in these past 9 seasons. But I really feel that they can do it with beautiful passing, good work, and all that good stuff.
New Canaan wins the tip-off, and Rihanna Afshar has the ball for New Canaan. Swinging it to a wide open Natalie Plosker, the freshman starter. She doesn't make it, but Jane Charlton, the senior captain, does. Her first bucket of the game for number 33. Rams are up 2-0 early as Greenwich is on the move. Star freshman Mackenzie Nelson had it a second ago. We'll mention her in a second. Swinging the ball back and forth here. They get it back to Nelson. In the corner for 3 is Julia Conforti. The senior was heavily guarded and could not get that one to go in the slightest. Plosker's going to get it back to Afshar. Here's Quinn McKiernan in the corner in the post for Charleston, and she misses on that one badly, but her senior captain, Liz DiMarino, has her back again with the putback.
Now, that's a beautiful follow-up there, Ian. If you see the New Canaan big girl, the girls on the block are doing a great job in there early.
That ball flies out of bounds, but it's going to be off of New Canaan, and Greenwich will keep it. Conforti to inbound. The 4 and the 5 spot, power forward and center, playing a big role early on as Charlton and DiMarino are getting it done early. DiMarino, not the biggest of scorers, but she gets it done in a lot of ways for New Canaan. That pass for Nelson nearly intercepted by McKiernan. She goes in for the layup. It's no good. It's been an absolutely great year for Mackenzie Nelson, averaging 22.5 points per game as a freshman. She dropped 21 in their win earlier in the week up against Richfield. Quinn McKiernan for 3. She's wide open. She can't get it. Plosker can't get it. Rams are providing themselves numerous opportunities to score with their rebounding. McKiernan again from 3, and she again misses.
You know, Ian, even though the Rams didn't get that last possession to go, you just saw beautiful offensive rebounding from the girls. And, you know, that could translate early to some important buckets.
That's going to be a foul on New Canaan's Jane Charlton. Her first of the game. She just did an interview with the Rudin Report, 5 fun facts, and she said, we're going to try to touch most of them tonight because there's some interesting facts in there. But one of them, her greatest motivator, head coach John Winchester, who's got this program running at 4-2 this year, a record they haven't seen in a long time. Here's Nelson. Pass is intercepted by Plosker. Here she is on the break, getting it to Captain Afshar, but Afshar misses an open layup. The Rams' leading scorer couldn't get it to go. Here's Nelson on the other end, and on the pull-up jumper, no good off the glass. Charlton controls the rebound and loses it herself. Here is Greenwich. Ball is loose everywhere, and it rolls out of bounds. It's off of Quinn McKiernan. Ava Soline, another freshman, lost it.
A lot of fast-paced action early.
That's the name of the game, and girls basketball flies back and forth, and this New Canaan team especially likes to play a fast-paced style. They're pressing a lot, looking for steals and big plays. Here's Riggs, Kristen Riggs, that is. She gets it to Nelson and back to Riggs, the sophomore. Here's Soline, Afshar's on her. And here's Nelson. Riggs, good pass down low, but Greenwich can't corral it. Here's Plosker on the break. Good crossover, but Nelson with the steal, and here she is on the break. Here's the prolific scorer. She cuts inside and gets the and-one bucket over Liz DiMarino.
Wow.
There's that superstar scoring.
Really just a smooth play there. Easy transition to the underhand scoop layup. Beautiful play by Nelson.
That's her first bucket on the game. And the Cardinals' leading scorer will have the chance to add to her total here from the free throw line. Checking in is Kayla Anderson for the Cardinals, number 42, and checking out is Julia Conforti.
You know, early attempts at the free throw line for Nelson to get her stroke going is really important for a prolific scorer such as her.
She misses the free throw. Rams still lead by 2. Here's McKiernan the star junior who's gotten off to a rough start tonight, missing both her shots from beyond the arc. Afshar slowing it down. Driving right on Conforti. Charlton down low, a laser to Plosker. McKiernan hesitates, goes in with the floater, and smooth as silk off the glass.
Beautiful little dribble drive there, set up by excellent passing by the Rams offense.
Coach Winchester is amped for his squad right now at the early 4-point lead. Nelson hits the deck, and it's going to go the other way as she just got tripped up and flat out lost it. No deflection on any New Canaan player.
That's just good defense by New Canaan, not worrying too much about the driving defender getting in the way and making a mistake happen.
Here's Afshar. Nelson starting to press up a little bit on the Rams star scorer. Going back and forth here. McKiernan loses it. It's Nelson again getting it done on both ends early.
She's all over the court early. Let's see. I'd like to see how this translates to later in the game if she can keep this incredible pace up.
Well, it's a pretty deep Greenwich squad, but she's getting a lot of action early. It's going to be a push on Charlton. Winchester's not happy with that one as his star senior already has 2 fouls early, so senior Katie Dunn will check in for a moment for Charlton.
And that could be a big storyline in this game. If Greenwich can get Charlton and the other centers and power forwards in foul trouble, it could be big to translate further on into the game.
This is not the biggest New Canaan team. They have Dee Marino and Carney McKiernan, Quinn McKiernan's older sister, outside of Charlton, are the only other bigs on this squad. So Charlton being in early foul trouble doesn't necessarily help. Getting it down low, double teamed. Driving to the lane is Riggs, and Riggs can't get it to go off the glass. The ball is loose. Dunn keeps it, whacks it right into Nelson, and Nelson can't get it to go as she hits the deck. The ball falls right into her, and that is going to stay in Cardinal possession. Smart play from Nelson as she chucked it off of Dunn.
Got a little Larry Bird action there, Ian. A little rebound to yourself after the shot. That's great hustle.
She's all over the floor, as you mentioned, on the floor and on the ground sometimes. She's not afraid to go in, drive, and
mix it up,
take tough shots. Exactly. Doubled there. It's nearly intercepted by Plosker. Nelson will keep it. Beautiful pass in the corner on the mid-range jumper. It's no good by Conforti. And fighting for that ball as McKiernan hits the deck. Good effort from Kayla Anderson. But nonetheless, it will actually stay in Greenwich possession. So great effort there from the sophomore. Nelson flies one over the New Canaan defense to Riggs, who's open.
Screen.
She'll take the 3 off a screen, and it rims out. But Greenwich is proving themselves to be one of the better rebounding teams in the FCAC. They continue to provide themselves with numerous chances.
And really prolific on the boards here early.
That's a miss down low, but a great rebound by Anderson, and she's just going to draw the foul. You rarely see a player get over Liz DiMarino, especially when she's got the advantage after the box out. But Anderson was not afraid just to snatch that ball and, again, go up, take the contact, hit the floor, and draw 2 free throws. First one is up and good. That's Greenwich's first made free throw of the game as they cut the lead to 3.
And here we're just going to get a little replay to show you this great hustle play by Greenwich, getting that rebound and getting that foul.
Just ripped it right out of DiMarino's hands. A little pushing and shoving down low is proving itself to be a very physical game early on. Here's Afshar. So leans all over, and then they finally double her for a moment. Nearly stolen, and the ball is going to be out of bounds on Kayla Anderson.
Kayla Anderson has been hustling all over the court in this first quarter.
Afshar looking for an open New Canaan Ram. Can't find her just yet before finally connecting with Quinn McKiernan, who will just dump it off to Afshar, the leader of this Rams team on and one of their biggest leaders off the court as well.
You know, she really is a court general. You hear people talking about comparisons to CP3 and other great point guards, but she really does command this New Canaan offense.
Kicks it to Plosker. Plosker drives left, pull up, goes on top of the backboard, and will stay in New Canaan possession as it falls right into Plosker's hands before being stolen by Greenwich.
You know, Ian, I really think there should have been a whistle after that shot. It hit the top of the backboard, which is usually, you know, the referee will blow it dead, but that
let him play, I guess.
Exactly.
Dunn pass is intercepted. Great defensive effort by Julia Conforti. Euro step, can't get it to go. The rim is unkind. Dunn fought for that one, and in the end, it was an excellent effort by Ava Soline.
But New Canaan retains possession.
New Canaan will retain possession. Carney McKiernan, who just checked into the game for New Canaan, the senior sister of Quinn McKiernan, just checked into the game recently. She will inbound. The Rams will also put into the game Megan Driscoll, the sophomore, who is one of the Rams' better shooters from beyond the arc, not afraid to pull it from deep.
And Greenwich is really working this full court trap.
And it's worked so far. Dunn from the baseline splashes it in on the jumper.
Wow, really beautiful arc on that shot. No wonder she got that to go so smoothly.
Neither team has jumped out shooting-wise so far in this one, but good shot from Dunn there to pull the trigger.
And a great play from Carney McKiernan coming over from the paint to make that wonderful defensive effort.
It will stay in Greenwich possession as Mackenzie Nelson has yet to check out of this game so far for Greenwich.
You know, I'm not surprised, Ian.
She's only got 2 points, missed one of her free throws, but her presence as one of the elite scorers has New Canaan focused on her at all times.
Yeah, she's drawing defenders every time she steps onto the
Driscoll dives for it and most likely keeps the ball in New Canaan possession, which she will. Good effort play by the sophomore. And a new Cardinal will check in for Greenwich. It will be Beatrice Owens, the junior, as Kristen Riggs, the sophomore, check out. Meanwhile, Quinn McKiernan will check out, and checking in for the Rams is senior, number 22, Kathleen Lasecki. Another good presence off the bench for New Canaan. Here's Katie Dunn of the lane, kicking it to Driscoll, and she can't get it to go on the pull-up jumper. Rebound from Julia Conforti, as she'll slow down the pace for a bit. Gets it to Nelson, who drives into Afshar for a moment. Looking for some kind of lane, some kind of opportunity.
Nelson drove baseline there. Again.
Nelson's open in the corner for the triple, and it rims out again. She's had a couple of jump shots robbed for her from this one by the rim. Oh. McKiernan is going to turn it over for New Canaan as she just could not find Afshar on that pass. They trapped her on that full court press.
That's a tough turnover, but it does pay compliment to how hard Greenwich is working on this full court trap.
Greenwich head coach Chris Hernandez really has drawn up a pretty great game plan on that press. It's forced a lot of pressure for New Canaan. Hopefully their offense can start clicking down 4 points here. Here's Nelson near the NC logo. Kicks it to Owens. Owens drives and whiffs, but another great rebound and effort down low from Anderson. She cannot get it to go either. Dunn is trapped, just pivoting and finally finding Megan Driscoll. But the trap continues to roll. Dunn finally just snatches it. She's had enough of this full court press.
This press is keeping the ball out of their court general and point guard Brianna Afshar. And it's really affecting the offense coming up the court.
Lasecki airballs that shot from just outside the paint. And Greenwich slows it down with just over 20 seconds left in the first quarter. Here's Mackenzie Nelson. That ball is off the leg and still in bounds before it goes out of bounds off the backboard. A bit of confusion there.
Yeah, just tossed it up there. Might not have known how much time was left on the clock.
From Soline, that is. You make a good point. She might have felt like she had to rush a shot off there. The Rams only have 3 seconds. Kicking it to Carney. Now to Lasecki. But that missed free throw will not count. It's a low-scoring effort, to say the least. It's 8-4. And New Canaan, who's a bit of an underdog in this game, is jumping out to a big lead. Not a big lead, but a lead, which is a bit surprising considering they haven't beaten Greenwich since 2011. What have you seen from New Canaan that you hope will continue for them through the second quarter?
Well, great passing is what jumps out to me. And, you know, they're moving the ball up the court. The press has affected them, but they've still been able to, with Driscoll and other players, taking over for filling in for a point guard role, bringing it up the court and getting it down low.
And a big part of Coach John Winchester's game plan was shutting down Mackenzie Nelson. And that's not an easy task. You can tell that to your players, but one thing is saying it, another is doing it. And a player who's averaging over 20 points per game in the FCAC for girls basketball only has 2 so far in this one.
Exactly, Ian. You know, and if you're Greenwich, you're really looking to get her more open shots. I feel like she's been pushing the pace. She's been getting other players open. And we have to see some other Greenwich players knocking down those shots when they get the opportunity.
Just 2 points for her. She's missed a couple of open looks, but she can get hot in a hurry. She's got a pair of games this season with over 28 points, which you rarely see in girls basketball and a lot of low-scoring efforts. Looking at some FCAC standings, these are only FCAC records, not total records for these teams. In the West, Greenwich is a perfect 3-0 alongside Staples and Trumbull. Meanwhile, New Canaan is in the East Division. They're 2-1 in division play. They just beat Trinity Catholic on Friday, so that helped their FCAC standing. Norwalk, shout out my hometown, is a perfect 3-0. One of the best girls basketball programs in the state. They won the Class L or D1 last year.
And Ian, as the play continues, you'll see that the East standings are very tight, almost identical records down the board. This is a major game for New Canaan in standings.
Especially, and they get that kind of momentum win against Greenwich would be huge. Wide open triple for Greenwich, no good. They've had no success from beyond the arc. Kristen Riggs missed that one. Great bounce pass from Driscoll. Afshar puts it up, and it does not fall. Driscoll fights for the rebound. Carney McKiernan's now shoving, I said shoving too much. Shoving Mackenzie Nelson to the floor, just asserting herself and keeping the rebound.
Yeah, and I don't think there's a better word. That was just a hustle play, showed a lot of heart, ripping the ball away from the Greenwich defender's arms.
Really great effort there. Nelson was all over. She's been very active tonight defensively. Here's Dunn down low. Pass is tipped and intercepted by Clara Molnally, making her first big play of the game. Here's Solene and Mackenzie Nelson. Nelson is going to drive off a backdoor cut, and she gets bumped. No foul on New Canaan, though. They're just going to keep rolling.
Yeah, she got bumped hard on that play.
And the ball was also out on her as well, which means that it will stay or it will flip to New Canaan possession.
And if I'm not wrong, I believe that might be her third turnover of the game.
She's just not had a great game. She's trying to get to the lane, and half the time she's losing it. She has to stay a little bit more controlled if she wants to get in the score column, which she does so often.
Ian, I think that's because of the presence of Carney McKiernan and players of the like Jane Charlton and Liz DiMarino, just staying strong down low.
Here's Afshar fighting, driving to her left, kicking it to Lisecki, who's open for the 3, and it's off. But Carney grabs the rebound, no good. Katie Dunn puts it up, nada, and Lisecki puts it up. 3 strikes, you're out, as they miss all those shots down low. New player for Greenwich, spotting the mask, is Jordan Moses. And falling to the floor there is Julia Conforti.
And Moses with almost like a Rip Hamilton look or a LeBron James look there with the mask.
Playing through probably a broken nose. Giving it all for her team right now. Playing through injury. Carney McKiernan also, as you mentioned, she's been a steady force. With Charlton out early, she's played a lot more than expected. When I talked to Coach Winchester earlier this year, he mentioned she was the most improved player over the summer, and it shows right now on the defensive end. Here's a bounce pass from Afshar to Katie Dunn, and she finishes off the great feed from her captain.
You know, Ian, on the last break, there's a substitution from New Canaan, subbing out Carney McKiernan and subbing in Emily Gibbons. And as we're seeing, there's a smaller lineup on the court for New Canaan, but I think it's working well for them.
Hey, small ball works in the big leagues. Why not in the New Canaan High School gym? It's working right now. New Canaan is up 6, just scored their first points of the quarter. Here is Emma Gibbons, the junior, looking for a pass, and finally it's intercepted as she hesitated a bit. Great play from Mackenzie Nelson as she hits the floor to get that turnover. Nelson drives right, kicks it in the corner, and the 3 is offline from Conforti. She's not afraid to shoot that 3. She's shot multiple tonight, but has not made any. And finally, for the first time tonight, we're going to get a timeout.
Yeah, timeout from Greenwich there. I think they're going to try to slow the pace, talk it over. This is a big possession for them down 6. You know, really trying to get the offense going in what has been lacking throughout the night.
Definitely. Head coach Chris Hernandez has to be a bit stunned right now. Her team is not used to being down in games like this. Greenwich has had one of the better programs in the FCAC for a solid amount of time. And they've been on a bit of a run. They're on a 2-game winning streak. Got a win over Richfield, 59-42, and East Haven. Their only loss of the year coming to Pomperog. Meanwhile, New Canaan is 4-2. Started their year off with a win against Brian McMahon, which we covered, a big blowout W for New Canaan. They lost 2 in a row against Weston and Staples, but have come on strong as of late, beating Trinity Catholic on Friday, which is a pretty good FCAC program.
Exactly, Ian. And their guys team actually played not too long after that Friday night. And, our New Canaan Rams men's team unfortunately had a loss, but it was a great game, Ian.
Trinity Catholic, for both guys and girls, have one of the better programs in the state. And their boys team especially, that was a big win. You mentioned Emma Gibbons. Her older brother, Alex Gibbons, is a phenomenal player for them. He's heading off to college next year to continue with his basketball dreams. He didn't check out once in that game, and he dropped a whopping 24 points in the losing effort nonetheless.
He was one of the bright spots for the New Canaan offense and defense with, tough play on both sides of the court.
And his sister, Emma, who is number 15 for the Rams, getting her first playing time tonight, missed some earlier time in the season with an injury, but obviously a valuable player for the Rams as a junior.
Exactly.
As she's already in the game.
And we saw her earlier today in the JV game actually putting in valuable minutes for her squad, and really this experience can help her down the road.
Definitely. 3 ball is up. 3 ball is no good from number 3. That miss coming from Jordan Moses. But the ball will stay in Greenwich possession, as it looked like he was out on a New Canaan defender. Nelson inbounds, kicks it to Conforti. Afshar's on her, really hounding her, looking for the ball. She drives inside, a really nice move, but she hits the bottom of the rim. Greenwich gets the rebound. Conforti is not afraid to shoot. She hasn't made a shot tonight, but she's stayed confident.
And Sierra Mullaney over the top there on that foul. She was really putting in a good effort, but just reached over the back of the New Canaan defender.
Gibbons to inbound for New Canaan. And Afshar is going to run it up the court, dishes it to Quinn McKiernan, puts up the floater. Beautiful shot from the junior.
That's her second almost identical shot from that wing, coming in with a little drive and a beautiful little floater.
Passes batted around before Nelson gets it back for the Cardinals. Here's Moses getting it back to Greenwich's lead scorer. Trying to get something going here is Nelson's fellow freshman teammate, Ava Soline. You rarely see a team roll out 2 freshman starters, but Coach Hernandez has great faith in her younger players.
Now, if I'm not wrong, that was a timeout by Greenwich. I think
it looks like it's going to be a
technical foul.
Technical.
Called on the coach of Greenwich, Chris Hernandez, right there.
That's a bit of a shocker.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I didn't see anything too malicious.
Big word, Jack. Well, it's definitely been a back-and-forth game. It's gotten a little chippy here and there, but not necessarily to the point where it's been technical foul worthy. Refs are closer to the court, so they know what's up. Quinn McKiernan smooth from the line as she drills down both. It's a 10-point lead for New Canaan coming into this game as an underdog up against Greenwich. They haven't beat them since 2011, but Coach Winchester, in his 4th year here in New Canaan, frankly, the former Tennessee and Quinnipiac player, is getting it done as the Rams' new head coach. And so is this strong girls squad.
And Ian, you could see this energy building throughout the school day, even today. Around the hallways, people were really fired up for this game.
Definitely. Just like last year, you see New Canaan basketball, who has not been, for the boys, who hasn't been a serious contender for decades. And finally, Coach Melzer brings the team to the promised land last year. Could we see something in New Canaan? They've had an up-and-down start to the year, but they could go 5-2 to start the season. And this would be a huge boost for Coach Winchester and his entire program as they're building momentum like that New Canaan boys squad last year.
Exactly. And then what we're seeing early so far in this game, they are building that momentum. They are playing hard, and really it's paid dividends on the scoreboard.
Here's Afshar, 1v1 with Nelson. She drives right, floats it to Driscoll. In the corner is the lead scorer of this game, Quinn McKiernan. She's got 4. Afshar's trapped, and it's off the hands of Quinn McKiernan. She should have had that one. She's going to wish she had that one back.
I'm going to look for Greenwich to continue that trap. They've gone away from it a little bit, but they've brought pressure, especially in the first quarter, on the New Canaan offense.
They've been really great considering they've only given up 14 points when their offense has only provided them 4.
Exactly, Ian. And most of the time the ball, it's been pretty evenly distributed on both sides of the court. It's kind of surprising to me that the Greenwich offense, as powerful as it is, has not put up more points.
Megan Driscoll draws her first foul of the game after she reached in for that steal. Meanwhile, a substitution for New Canaan as Emma Gibbons checks out. And Carney McKinnon is back into this one. Coach Winchester seems like he won't be playing Jane Charlton probably for the rest of the first half after she racked up 2 early fouls. Wants to preserve his star senior, who's heading off to Duke next year to play lacrosse, one of the better girls lacrosse players in the country.
Exactly, Ian, and she's just a tremendous athlete in any sport she plays.
Nelson sets up the screen for Moses, dishing it in the corner to former Tennessee basketball player and head coach John Winchester.
Yeah, she really skied that one out of bounds. I think a little miscommunication on the court.
That was a bit of an illusion, I guess. Thought she saw one of her teammates in the corner, but there was nowhere to go with the ball.
Wow.
Afshar saves that one. That one nearly floated out of bounds.
We're seeing a really strong press from Greenwich.
Floating it up to Nelson, takes the contact, and that is going to be a foul on Driscoll.
As I said,
second in the last minute.
As I said earlier, Ian, I really feel like getting to the free throw line for a shooter and a great offensive player in Nelson, who's been struggling early in this game, I think it could really help her out later on.
She's just 0 of 1 for the line, and getting her to the line more frequently would be big scoring-wise for this Greenwich squad. She clanks the first one. We're going to get a second look at the foul from Driscoll, who would check out with this one.
You see the turnover on the offensive side for New Canaan and a really great fast break from Nelson, who goes up strong and gets the foul.
And Driscoll really had no choice there but the foul. I mean, Nelson's a star scorer. She hasn't been on her game tonight. She now has 3 points off 1 of 3 shooting from the free throw line. But when you have a star player like that in your grill, you kind of just have to foul. McKiernan is trapped by 3 Greenwich defenders, and they're going to call foul on one of them.
That was a physical play there. I'm not surprised.
It's going to be on Kristen Riggs, the sophomore. Luckily, McKiernan didn't travel. Her younger sister, Quinn, here to inbound. She's had a great game so far with 4 points for New Canaan. Here's Afshar. They're still pressing with Nelson. Gets it down low to Carney. Afshar's wide open behind her. She wants the ball, but she can't make the 3. Looking for the foul as Moses just falls all over her. Meanwhile, McKiernan misses. Players continue to fall. McKiernan puts up a hook shot, and Quinn can't get it to go, and Nelson nearly stumbles out of bounds.
We almost saw a Magic Johnson baby sky hook there. Couldn't fall, though.
It was an interesting look. Got herself open. Greenwich looking to slow it down, but also wants to get on the board. Deflected by Plosker. Here's Katie Dunn on the break. It's a 3-on-2 situation. Getting it down low to Carney McKiernan. Looking around the back of a Greenwich defender. Afshar can't keep it in bounds. Or can't keep it in bounds for the right team, that is. Nelson, corner, deep 2 is offline. Shooting has not been a plus for either team in this one, as Afshar will slow it down with the pace getting a little bit hectic. Plosker nearly loses it. She's doubled in the corner by Moses as well as Beatrice Owens.
Jordan Moses with another foul, Ian. Sorry to cut you off there.
Well, we can tell from the mask that she plays physically. She's not afraid to put her body on the line for the squad, but maybe getting a little over physical. She's already got 2 fouls, but they're going to keep her in the game early on. Let's get a second. New substitution for New Canaan for the first time tonight. Checking in for the Rams is Lucia Cravato, another freshman getting playing time on his team alongside Natalie Plosker.
Down low to Dunn.
Open for the mid-range shot is Plosker. She cannot get it to go. Plosker is one of the bigger stars on this Ram team. We haven't seen her scoring-wise tonight, but heralded by all of her teammates. And again, another turnover for Mackenzie Nelson. That's her 4th of the game so far, Jack.
Yeah, Ian. It's really just she hasn't found her rhythm. She's been trying hard, but maybe pushing a little too hard for a Greenwich team who hasn't had much active, playmaking from other members of their squad.
Rams working it up the court. Dunn, bounce pass down low. A good feed to Quinn McKiernan. Through traffic, she can't get it to go. People looking for a foul, including Coach Winchester, but none to be had. Nelson with 1:23 left in half number 1. It's a 3-point shot, which is no good from Beatrice Owens.
You know, I'm kind of surprised from that look from Greenwich on that play. Yeah, an offense that's, struggling, as we've talked about. And I would look for them to, almost slow it down, pass it around, get a better look than what they got there.
And the Rams are in the bonus after a foul from Kristen Owens. So one of the Rams' best free throw shooters, Quinn McKiernan, will head to the line for a shot. A 1-and-1 situation.
And if she can knock at least one of these down, that's huge for this game, pushing the lead back up to 10 points possibly.
First one is up and good. She's got 5 points on the night. She was one of the Rams' leading scorers last year. She's had a bit of an up-and-down campaign to start this one, but she's finding her stroke in this game. And she will make it 6 points off a perfect 4 of 4 from the line, 1 of 2 on jump shots tonight as well.
And we're really seeing that being key for New Canaan. When they get to the line, they're making their shots, something that we can't really say about the Greenwich Cardinals at this moment.
Rams up 11 in this stunning early lead against the Cardinals. And a little bit too many pivot steps there for Kayla Anderson as she's going to get called for the travel, and it's back in New Canaan possession. Cravado inbounds to Afshar. Afshar also hasn't checked out of this game in my recollection either.
No,
Great move
not.
there from her, too. McKiernan swings it to Plosker,
Oh,
who
great.
ends up accidentally shutting down Kayla Anderson in the process as she turns that ball over.
Anderson went down hard.
And it looks like she's going to earn herself a 1-and-1 situation. Anderson's got a lot of playing time in this one. She's been a big force down low for Greenwich, really one of their few players willing to get down and get physical on the boards.
Exactly, Ian. Okay.
Anderson, first shot is up and no good.
That was really a key 1-and-1 to try to get something going before the start of the half.
Just 45 seconds left in half number 1, which has been all New Canaan, 16-5. Afshar's going to slow it down here. There's no shot clock in the state of Connecticut, so they can run out the clock if they want to. Afshar drives inside. It's out of the hands of Cravado and into the hands of Quinn McKiernan.
But, Ian, the way this game has been going, I don't think we're going to see too much waiting around.
Cravado open for the shot from the free throw line, and her teammates are amped for her as the freshman gets the big-time bucket late. She scored 4 points in their win over Brian McMahon earlier on in the season. That's her first points today. Rihanna Afshar gets the steal, looking to go all the way, and she will off the glass.
That is
Canaan's
key.
Lead.
End of the half. What a play by Rihanna Afshar to take it away and go coast to coast to get that bucket.
This is absolutely stunning, Jack. We were expecting a back and forth battle. Instead, we have a 20-5 dominating lead by New Canaan.
And, I think that really is because of Coach Winchester's plan to really get this play forward in the offensive zone and take the ball away from Greenwich, who has seemingly been a one-trick pony with Nelson.
We've had a lot of big performances in this first half. Rihanna Afshar came on big late. Quinn McKiernan's had a really good game. But all around, his team effort has been fantastic. Talk a little bit, as you mentioned earlier, about the play down low from New Canaan's bigs, especially after Jane Charlton went down, or didn't go down, but had the early foul trouble.
Ian, we saw more in the first quarter of the New Canaan bigs really getting a lot of work. And I think personally in this second quarter, when they really opened up the floodgates was when they went small on the court and started to drive the ball down the court and get those open looks down court.
Well, New Canaan has the big lead, looking to get their third win in a row, and Greenwich is not hoping to snap their 9-game win streak against the New Canaan Rams. New Canaan is up 20-5 up against the Greenwich Cardinals here from New Canaan High School Gym. Ian Nicholas and Jack Hagan. We will be back with the NCTV crew in the second half. Hello, everyone. I'm Ian Nicholas, joined by future Furman D1 lacrosse player Jack Hagan. Forgot to give you that shout-out earlier on, Jack. And the entirety of the NCTV crew for New Canaan basketball action. This FCAC matchup was expected to be a back-and-forth. New Canaan was looking to turn the tide after losing their last 9 matchups up against Greenwich. And to say the least, the tide is swamping the Greenwich Cardinals right now. It's 20-5. Let's catch some of the action from the first half, which has New Canaan up 15 points. So let's roll to some of those highlights now. Jack, take us through some of these.
Exactly, Ian. We're going to see here an early bucket from Nelson, one of her only ones of the day. We got Rihanna Afshar kicking it out wide, and a nice shot from Katie Dunn. Really nothing but net butter right there.
Shooting has not been a plus for either team tonight, but the Rams got a little bit of momentum later in the second half from mid-range.
As we see in these highlights, nice passing. Passing is setting up almost every shot here for New Canaan. And, Greenwich maybe has to look to more, unselfish play to get this offense going.
Quinn McKiernan had a huge first half. You just saw her get an assist there. She also had a team-high 8 points. Captain Rihanna Afshar also came on big later in the half. And she had around 6.
And for everyone listening and watching, that last highlight was right before the half. New Canaan stole it away, put it away coast to coast for another bucket to put them up 20-5.
It was a back-and-forth first half of the first quarter, but really, ever since the middle of the first, it's been all New Canaan. Will that stay true in the second half? For the moment, it will, thanks to a little bit of help from the rim. Liz DiMarino gets that one to go. She's got 4 on the game.
Ian, that's a shooter's touch right there.
Definitely. Intercepted by Charlton. Beautiful bounce pass to Rihanna Afshar. And that one will clank in as well.
Another coast-to-coast. 4 points early for this New Canaan Rams offense.
The momentum is at sky-high levels for New Canaan as it's out of bounds on Ava Solene and right back in New Canaan possession.
I wasn't sure early, but the more we watch, the faster the game is, the more it benefits New Canaan. Another turnover from the Greenwich Cardinals.
No one expected this New Canaan Rams team to be a big-time contender, but they have been getting winning improvements in each of the last 3 years under head coach John Winchester. So the sky's the limit for this squad.
That's always great to see for such a team coming up who struggled in the past but has really seemed to turn it around this year.
They won just 4 games under Coach Winchester in his first year here in 2017. They won 7 games last year and made the playoffs before being bounced by Trumbull. And this season, well, they've already got 4 and could be on their way to a 5th if they keep it up in the second half like they have. Down low bucket is good off a glass by Kayla Anderson. That's the first Greenwich bucket in a while.
And Ian, that was set up by great passing from that Greenwich Cardinals offense.
A great trap leads to an easy layup opportunity for Greenwich, and it's a made bucket by Ava Solene. And Coach Winchester smartly calls a timeout early as these two teams are exchanging blows, and Greenwich is on a 4-0 run.
Ian, that was a great timeout by Coach Winchester. Seeing that his ladies were, not letting it slip away, but it was, momentum started to turn. The Greenwich offense, you could hear the cheers from the bench, and he smartly called a timeout to correct what was going on in that court.
And when Jane Charlton did that interview with the Rudin Report, she was actually interviewed by an NCHS student, Izzy Nesbitt. And one of the questions that she was gotten was, how did your team keep it fun during more tough times? And she said the chemistry on this team is really, it's close. It's at a level where you want it to be for a team that doesn't have that star player. But like the boys team, doesn't need that star player. They play as a unit, the first unit and the second unit, do a really great work and great job together. And they're on a 4-0 run right now, or Greenwich is on a 4-0 run, so they got to stick together and make some plays.
And real quickly, we're going to cut to a couple of highlights. Early play, putting the Rams up 22-9 and then 24-9.
During that highlight break, we missed a bucket from Mackenzie Nelson off the glass. She got it, and Greenwich is finally getting back in this game. A steal leads to an open three-point attempt, but it's no good from Greenwich. Liz DiMarino fights for the rebound. It's a jump ball, and it will stay in New Canaan possession.
That was a really strong play by Liz DiMarino. Number 45 for Greenwich had it first, but she just reached over, used her strength and size to rip that ball away.
Plosker again. Nelson goes for the ball, and it's another jump ball situation. Greenwich played physical early on, and they were in the game then. They softened up a little bit, and they were able to give New Canaan a big lead, but they're right back to their physical ways
Ian,
here.
Already early in the second half, it's 24-11, but it doesn't really feel like that. You see the Greenwich fans coming alive. They're starting to cheer again.
Greenwich can get hot in a hurry, and they're showing it here right now. Pump fake and swinging the ball around. Great ball movement from Greenwich. People getting open. Number 2 takes the shot, and it is no good from Julia Conforti, who shot a lot in the first half but didn't make a lot. Jane Charlton goes head first to the floor, and numerous Greenwich players, including Kayla Anderson, hit the deck.
Ian, Mackenzie Nelson, I think, is picking it up. I don't know, maybe her coach said something to her at halftime, but she has come out with a new spark, a new fire. She dove for that ball on the ground.
She's got 5 points on the game for a player that averages over 21 points per game on the year. That's not where she wants to be, and neither where her coach wants her to be, knowing her talent.
But, of course, there's still time, and I think she might, the way she's playing early on here, I think she might turn it up.
Let's see. Here's Afshar slowing it down for New Canaan, just letting the jitters go. Driscoll lets it rip from 3. It's no good as Nelson grabs the board, slows it down. Conforti was open, but a little bit too deep for a 3-point attempt. Good ball movement yet again. Trying to find an open shot. New Canaan looks to finally get a steal, but it's a jump ball situation, and it will most likely stay in Greenwich. No, it will go to New Canaan. Good effort there from Liz DiMarino.
You see, once it gets to those blocks, the New Canaan centers and power forwards, just their tremendous size is overpowering the smaller Greenwich squad.
Here's Driscoll, who tries to force it to DiMarino. She does. Quinn McKiernan open for 3, and she overshoots it. Great effort from Jane Charlton. She will get the ball back for New Canaan for only a moment. Rihanna Afshar couldn't keep it in bounds.
Quinn McKiernan took that 3, but she had a wide open Jane Charlton on the blocks. Maybe a little tunnel vision there.
True, but also McKiernan is one of the few 3-point shooters on this Ram team who will shoot it consistently and has the ability to make it. So in a game where they've struggled from beyond the arc, maybe she's trying to get him going. Hop step shot from Julia Conforti is well short. She's had herself a rough game shooting-wise. Afshar has that pass swatted and stolen by Nelson. Looking to go coast to coast, and she won't.
She didn't get that one to go, but really high basketball IQ shown there with that great defensive play.
Driscoll is going to lose it. It's going to end up being a foul, though, on Kayla Anderson as she tried to slow down Driscoll on the break. So she'll get a chance for 2 free throws.
Ian, that's not necessarily a bad foul by Kayla Anderson, because, they had the momentum going. There's a couple fast breaks. Just to slow it down, it wasn't a terrible foul.
Good point. Driscoll actually had to foul Mackenzie Nelson earlier on in this one to prevent her from getting a fast break bucket as she gets the first free throw to fall. And Nelson only ended up making up 1 of 2 free throws, and last time I checked, 1 point is better than 2 points. It's worse than 2 points, better for the defense.
There you go, Ian.
There we go, Matt. We're working it out mathematically. There, though, Driscoll makes both free throws, so not the best of fouls. Here's Nelson. Kicking it in the corner for Conforti.
We're seeing a Greenwich squad that's moving the ball around, a little dish and dash, moving it, looking good.
They've looked good when they swing the ball around and they get the ball movement going.
Oh,
a miscommunication there from the pair of freshmen. Ava Soline was looking for Mackenzie Nelson, and Nelson was looking to cut.
Ian, just as we talk about the great passing and great ball movement, a pretty poor turnover there, just a lack of communication.
Get a second look at that one, and as soon as that happened, Nelson looked at Soline to figure out what happened. Just a classic miscommunication between 2 younger players.
Wow.
Afshar forces Nelson to the ground. Anderson, no, it was Nelson.
No, it was Nelson, yeah. And Nelson got her way in front of Rihanna Afshar and forced Afshar to stick her elbow out in order to, that was really a push-off. Great sell by Nelson as well.
Yeah, I don't want to say that was, I should say, flop. I mean, I don't really see Rihanna Afshar shoving people to the ground quite often.
No.
But as you mentioned, a good sell from Nelson.
No, there was obviously stuff there, but a great job by her to allow the referee to see it more easily.
Conforti is not afraid to shoot it, but maybe she should be because she has missed a lot of shots tonight. She misses the baseline jumper there. Driscoll gets the feed from McKiernan.
Wow.
And finally, the Rams
from
make a
downtown
shot from beyond the arc. It's actually going to be a deep 2, but regardless, Great shot there from one of her Rams' better shooters off the bench in Megan Driscoll. And assist from Quinn McKiernan.
And if I'm not wrong, that's the longest shot I think we've had maybe all game, or has there been a three-pointer before that?
No, I believe that is the deepest shot all game. Bucket from Greenwich there down low from Kayla Anderson. Good game she's having. But finally, we're getting some momentum from deep. New Canaan's looking to avoid an 8-second violation, and they are furious looking for it on that Greenwich bench. They won't get it. Quinn McKiernan won't get that one.
You know, they thought they were going to get a double dribble there, and, you know, honestly, they could have had something. That was a great trap by the Greenwich defense.
They've been doing that work on the trap all game long. Nelson's going to slow it down. Greenwich still down 14 points. They were down 15 at the half. They started cutting into the lead, but they couldn't recapture the momentum. New Canaan is back in the driver's seat, and it looks like head coach Chris Hernandez is going to call a timeout.
You know, really a smart timeout. It looked almost as there's a little confusion on the Greenwich court on the offensive side. Great job, great timeout by Hernandez in order to slow that down.
Definitely. They have really not had the momentum often today. They've made some aggressive plays here early in the second half that got them back in the game for a moment. As you mentioned, it was an 11-point New Canaan lead, but it didn't feel like it as Greenwich started capturing some momentum offensively.
And Ian, as we look at these replays, you're going to see the aggressive and tenacious defense from Greenwich really leading to some great opportunities on the other side of the court.
Yeah, they didn't need to get fancy scoring-wise. They just played their style of trap defense, not letting the Rams get past half court, and it led to easy transition buckets. As you mentioned, they only scored 5 points in the entirety of the first half. They've already scored 8 with just over 2.5 left to go in the second half.
And as play resumes here, we're going to look to see more of that same style of offense, Ian.
Nelson off a cut, gets open, dishes it to her teammate, and it's a good defensive play to just jump on the ball and force a jump ball. Megan Driscoll nearly gets the ball for New Canaan, but it will stay in Greenwich possession as Julia Conforti will inbound.
You know, it was a great pass from Nelson to Martinoff, but she just couldn't look it in. Oh.
And Martinoff getting her first playing time tonight. As you mentioned her name, Jack, gets her first bucket of the game.
Ian, that's huge. She's by far the biggest player on the Greenwich squad. Getting her the ball down low early to challenge these New Canaan power forwards and centers is really important in the second half.
Afshar cutting through, and that looked like a bit of a double dribble, but they're not going to call it. She's able to escape the trap, keep it alive for a moment. Greenwich just flings it inbounds, keeps the ball in possession, and it ends up in a crazy layup for Mackenzie Nelson.
And that's just a pretty play. Hard hustle from both sides of the court, offense to defense. Oh.
McKiernan short on that three. She was open again, but she just couldn't get it to go. A jump ball is forced from Katie Dunn. It will stay in Greenwich possession. Actually, it looks like New Canaan will inbound. Good play there from the senior Dunn. They're making some substitutions, though. Charlton will check out. She had foul trouble early, but she hasn't fouled yet in the second half. Afshar will inbound. As Carney McKiernan's in the game for New Canaan. And it will be Greenwich basketball.
You know,
or no, it'll stay in New Canaan possession.
No, it will stay New Canaan, but really just not a great look on the inbound. I'm looking to see them get a little more of a set play here on this second inbound attempt.
And again, Afshar just has to pluck it right on the floor, and there's nothing there.
Wow.
And Greenwich travels.
New Canaan gets a gift there, turnover for turnover, and we're back in the offensive end for the Lady Rams.
Well said, Jack. A gift after those two gaffes on inbound plays. It was Kayla Anderson who turned it over. And Coach Winchester, with a couple of lackluster efforts there from the Rams, is going to call a timeout. He looks disappointed. He didn't know what happened there.
And he was really forced to call that timeout because they were left in the exact same spot where those almost one turnover, but almost a second attempt of a turnover there. He had to call that timeout, you know.
And Winchester not afraid to get into his vocal leadership role. We're going to get a couple replays here.
And by far here, the most entertaining play of the game. A beautiful save from going out of bounds right into a beautiful pass down court for Kayla Nelson, putting it up with a nice left-hand scoop for the two.
And here's Afshar on the inbound, just didn't know where to go, so she just chucked it kind of in between two Greenwich defenders. It was an easy steal and would have been an easy setup for a possession for Greenwich, but instead, Kayla Anderson turns it over.
You know, and Anderson, it's almost like football. When you're that wide open, you kind of, what do I do? She was so wide open. The whole court had cleared out. She just, you know, a little mental error, a mental mistake, gave New Canaan the ball right back.
And Greenwich cannot afford many more of those mental mistakes down the stretch. As they still trail by 10 points, they've been able to cut the lead from 15 to 10 with 1:29 left to go in quarter number 3. But can they cut it all the way? They certainly have the talent to do so.
And Ian, just as I thought, we are seeing a change in strategy here on the inbound. We're getting a stack look to see the players break out across and one deep. There we go.
And Lasecki hits the deck, and so does Nelson as Greenwich safely dribbles the ball up the court. Here's Nelson with it. Looking for someone to get open, and Solene does. Here's Conforti.
We're seeing a lot of screens, but with the 2-3 off, 3-2 defense, excuse me, of New Canaan, you're seeing the screens are not as effective as they would be if you're playing man-to-man.
Afshar looks a little frustrated. She's trying to make some big-time plays. She did on the turnover. Conforti gets swatted by Carney McKiernan. Beautiful play defensively from the senior.
Wow, Carney came out of seemingly nowhere to block that one.
Driscoll tries to bank in the 3 on the break, and she can't. She's had a fantastic game. You can see why Coach Winchester had such high praise for her. She's just making play after play defensively. Ones that show up in the stat sheet and some that don't, but that one certainly did on that
Ian,
block.
She's just a sophomore and already getting great minutes and an important play for this Rams squad.
And Solene misses that shot. So Katie Dunn will dribble it up the court for New Canaan, their backup ball handler and point guard to Rihanna Afshar. But they're both playing on the court right now, as she can play off ball. Dunn, that is, as well. Here's McKiernan down low. And that shot is absolutely denied, kept in bounds. Lasecki gets another chance, but on the Mulligan 3, she can't get it to go.
No.
Great play from Nelson on the block. She'll just shove it from half court. Nearly gets it to go.
And again, Nelson, block to block. She came out of nowhere on that one, too.
A couple of massive swats late in that one. We're going to get a highlight recap of the entire third quarter. But it was Carney McKiernan who got the swat, and then a beautiful denial from Mackenzie Nelson as well.
And Ian, in my opinion, this was by far the best quarter of the game. Both teams having some great looks on offense and getting them to go.
Greenwich has outscored New Canaan in the third quarter. Outscored them in the third quarter, 12-7, cutting a 15-point lead to 10, and they have the momentum for the first time tonight.
As you're seeing on these highlights, just a lot of good defensive plays for Greenwich. And in the first half, we saw a lot of great for New Canaan, and almost the opposite for Greenwich, switching offense to defense.
And here's Quinn McKiernan. She's had a bit of a quiet second half after a big first half, getting the assist there to Megan Driscoll on that deep jumper.
Now here in low, Greenwich finally taking over down in the blocks.
And as you mentioned, great passing has set up a lot of these easy buckets for the Cardinals to get them back in this game. It finally seems like they're getting a rhythm offensively.
Now, a big key, Ian, is once you break that Syracuse zone and get it down low to the blocks, it's really easy to get up and get good, easy looks once you break the zone with that great, effective passing that they've had in this third quarter.
And by Syracuse zone, you mean that both teams tonight have played a 2-3 look defensively.
Exactly, Ian.
Greenwich will start it off in the fourth quarter after winning the tip early. It's a 10-point game, but it certainly feels a bit closer as New Canaan has to play better in this quarter if they want to escape with a win over a talented Greenwich squad.
Exactly, Ian. Their offense has really come alive.
Corner shot is nearly good from Nelson. She's had a lot of attempts from deep, and she's gotten open, and a lot of them have just rimmed out. It's been an unlucky night for her. Here's Afshar. Back to McKiernan. And that ball will stay in New Canaan possession, but regardless, Coach Winchester is still a bit frustrated with his team, who has not had the best of second half so far.
Frustrated might be an understatement, and he's fuming on the sideline, walking back and forth, not happy at all with his team's defense.
You can tell how passionate he is for his team, that even with a 10-point lead, he's not letting it go in the slightest.
Wow.
Afshar turns it over, and it turns into an easy transition bucket for Mackenzie Nelson. It's a single-digit game for the first time in a long time.
You know, Ian, we've talked a lot about Nelson not playing up to her potential, up to how she usually plays. But to be fair, she's really turned it up on this defensive side of the ball, and that's given her easy looks on the offensive side of the court.
And they are going to call a jump ball on that one. It looked like Quinn McKiernan might have double dribbled, but it looked like there was some conflict in the air from a Greenwich defender, and they're going to give New Canaan the benefit of the doubt. We'll get a second look at that one. It was Kelly Martinoff who got in her face in the triple from the corner from Katie Dunn.
From downtown, Katie Dunn gets a little toilet roll and goes in.
The fishbowl look, if you will.
Exactly.
It's actually going to be a deep 2, so still no threes made in this game from either team, but New Canaan keeps the double-digit lead at 10 points. Here's Nelson in the corner. Dunn on her. Open, but not taking the shot. Conforti is willing to shoot it. She will. She's struggled all night offensively. She cannot get it to go on that pull-up jumper.
A little dribble drive, stop and pop, but she couldn't get it to fall. It was a good look, but just didn't have it on there.
Winchester is looking to push the pace with this team. Dunn is open in the corner. She's trapped. Ball is loose. Greenwich gets possession. Ref calls a jump ball.
Another defensive play from Kayla Nelson.
She's had really a fantastic game on the defensive side of the ball. And Greenwich gets the ball. Coach Winchester looking to get some more players in the game, but he doesn't know who to put in. He's that flustered over there. He's just trying to get something going for New Canaan, as they're just a bit stagnant right now. Doesn't want things to get worse.
The 10-point game, Greenwich really looking to close that gap.
Nearly losing it. Ball in the corner, but Greenwich will keep the ball in their possession. Rihanna Afshar is close on Solene. Martinoff nearly turns it over. It's deflected, and it ends in another jump ball.
I think the possession arrow is going to stay with New Canaan. Yes, exactly.
Good call there, Jack. Katie Dunn will check out for sophomore shooter Megan Driscoll, who claps for the ball and gets it. Afshar has had a rough second half. They're looking to get some momentum here. Good pass to Driscoll. Ball is swiped. Great defensive play
all over
Nelson.
The court.
Jane Charlton will look to get the ball back, and she does, swiping the ball from each other.
Great hustle
play. Tag with the basketball.
Exactly,
right now.
Ian.
5 minutes, 37 seconds. New Canaan still with a 10-point lead as Rihanna Afshar is tackled by Mackenzie Nelson, and a dog pile develops on the NC logo.
Ian, another tie-up in the middle of the court, and that's going to stay with Greenwich this time.
It's been a back-and-forth battle. Both of these teams are playing extremely physical, but they're both keeping it extremely clean at the same time. They haven't let this one develop into a chippy game, which is just what you want to see.
You know, that was a tough turnover there from Afshar on that trap. The two front court players came up. She made a not as good of as a pass as we're used to, and a turnover right there.
Martinoff in the corner, nearly turning it over, keeping it inbound to Solene, and they will reset here with Nelson. Ball is nearly swiped from Charlton. Good pass fake, and Conforti misses an open look. Finally, she gets her first shot to fall of the game.
But the key was she kept fighting, got her own rebound, put it in. That's what we like to see, Ian.
She just has not let up. You have to shoot it to make it, and she gets the key bucket here for Greenwich down the stretch. Floater from Afshar, contact as she falls to the ground. Can't get it to go, and a jump ball develops as Afshar was looking to get that one. She's actually going to end up getting called for a foul.
Ian, the bank is not open on that one.
You've been waiting to use that call all game long.
It was. It's not a Sunday, but the bank,
not
just
open.
couldn't get it to get
it's not open on Tuesday night from New Canaan. Timeout is called as Coach Winchester is still a bit disappointed, asking the ref what's going on there, but an understanding. A resolution is made. You rarely see a coach go over to a ref and go away civilly. Good to see.
Yeah, but it's always nice to see your home team coach, butter up the ref a little for maybe a call further down.
Hey, we're not going to imply anything. Coach Winchester calls a timeout. It's a big one. Greenwich has slowly crept their way back into this game in the second half. They have outscored New Canaan 16-9. They have erased a 15-point lead, and they've made it only an 8-point lead for New Canaan. Jack, the pressure is really on for this New Canaan squad. They want to get this win. They don't want it to let it slip away.
I agree, Ian. I couldn't have said it any better. And with just under 5 minutes to go in this fourth quarter, this game is really starting to heat up. We're starting to see the tension on both sides of the benches, and we're really seeing these coaches start to feel a little bit pressure a little bit maybe.
Definitely. It's going to look to be a good one down the stretch, so stay tuned. We're going to get right back to the action here as the action resumes on the court. We were expecting it back and forth. We didn't get it. We were a bit disappointed in the blowout look at the halftime, but finally it's shaping up to be the FCX battle that it looked like heading into it.
Yeah, thankfully, Ian, both these offenses have come alive in the second half and really the end of the third quarter.
Definitely. Here's Nelson kicking it to Solene, the freshman. And back to her here, number 1, guarded by Megan Driscoll. Nelson, contested 3 is up and no good. It clanks out, and it is kept in almost Greenwich possession as Quinn McKiernan gets it, and that one is nearly stolen, but it's going to be a foul call on Ava Solene, who doesn't know what happened on that one, didn't know where the foul came from. Good effort play. She was the one that kept it inbounds as it was floating out of bounds. And then she tried to get the steal to make up for it after McKiernan got it back, but then she gets called for the foul.
Tough play on both sides of the court by both teams.
Afshar swings it to McKiernan, who had a good first half, but neither of these players have been as impactful in the second. Ball is loose. Afshar loses it again. Charlton looking for the chase down block, but she didn't want to foul, so Nelson gets the open lay-in.
We're starting to see a trend in this fourth quarter. They're trying to get Afshar to hold the ball up top. Oh! A foul, a hard foul by Nelson there. But Ian, back to my point, there was, the front court of those Greenwich Cardinals are starting to put pressure on the point guards of New Canaan, and so we're starting to see some mental mistakes, some turnovers, maybe not thinking the plays through well enough.
Mackenzie Nelson is called for the foul as she slammed Jane Charlton to the floor. New Canaan's going to call another timeout as the lead is even smaller at 6 points.
We got a game here, Ian.
We have a game here. To put it bluntly, it's a back-and-forth battle right now. There's a lot of pressure right now on Coach Winchester and this team. They've been getting better and better every year under his tutelage. But right now, he's frustrated. They have not been able to get a lot going here. What should be the game plan for New Canaan right now, Jack?
Ian, sorry to cut you off there a little bit.
No problem.
A team that had 20 points in the first half, and almost the fourth quarter is almost over. The game is almost over, and we've only seen 9 additional points from that star-studded New Canaan offense that was putting up great points earlier on in the game.
Has the trap just been more effective defensively for Greenwich in the second half, or is something else working for them defensively
Ian,
that's getting them back in it?
I think that has to be one of the biggest parts of this game, and as well as maybe the game's, it's getting closer to the end, and, the pressure mentally on these players, like the point guards of New Canaan, is starting to add up, and maybe we're seeing some mental fatigue for this New Canaan squad.
The Rams have got some big wins over the past few weeks. They beat their arch rival, Darien, on the road, 37-29. They beat Trinity Catholic on their home court, 50-32 last Friday, and they even beat Bridgeport Central by 67 points. If they could extend their win streak to 4 points with a win here, it'd be huge for the program. But Greenwich is not making it easy. They're trying to keep their 8 years alive. New Canaan has not beaten Greenwich since 2011. Jane Charlton puts it up. It's no good, and a jump ball is forced. Good play there from Charlton.
Jane Charlton, we could see, she just said, give me the ball, let me take it to the hoop, I want to take over this game. Great play.
She's not been as heavily featured in this game as New Canaan would like. Here in the post, she gets it down low to Afshar. McKiernan's calling for it in the corner. She's open. Dunn goes up with it, and she misses. Finally, a foul is called. That one is going to be on Mackenzie Nelson. She's gotten herself into a bit of foul trouble here. Actually, that is not going to be on Nelson. That's going to be on Kayla Anderson, number 42. Katie Dunn is going to get 2 shots from the line after the shooting foul.
But
These are a couple of big free throws.
Ian, to your point, I think they're both in relative foul trouble here down the stretch.
Dunn, smooth as silk in the clutch, gets that one to go with 3:27 left.
And Ian, the replay here of the foul, the second shot upcoming.
She misses the second, as Conforti nearly dragged Charlton to the ground, but no foul called. Nelson drives. Good lay-in attempt for the lefty. She can't get it to go. Southpaw scorer has had a pretty good second half, though. Lasecki is trapped, and she's going to get called for the travel.
Wow. Again, that front court pressure from the Greenwich Cardinals is causing, I don't know how many turnovers, Ian. It has to be.
Too many to count.
Too many to count, yeah.
Catherine Lasecki, the senior, making a very rookie mistake there, but the trap adds a lot of pressure. Here's Nelson. She's starting to get doubles from New Canaan. Here's Riggs with the ball. She hasn't had a big game statistically, but she's played a lot. Floater is up and no good for Solene.
Wow.
But Jane Charlton is shocked that she got called with the foul. That's her third on the game.
But luckily, Coach Winchester made the right move early in the game, taking her out and allowing her to maybe play more physical in the second half.
It's going to be a team foul, so it won't be any free throw opportunities for Greenwich. They have to inbound it first, and they do to Riggs. Give and go. Three-pointer is up and no good.
No
that would have been
good.
a big shot for Greenwich. Quinn McKiernan, though, was out of bounds as she tried to save the ball. So Greenwich will get yet another opportunity to get back in the game.
And this is a huge possession with only 2:44 left in the game. Can Greenwich get something to go here?
Here's Riggs. Nelson's open again. She hesitates, finally shoots it, and again can't get it to go from the triple. Here's Charlton. Bounce pass falls right into the legs of Nelson. She goes up with it. It's an and one bucket over Quinn McKiernan.
Wow. And this crowd has come alive for the Greenwich Cardinals. A stunned New Canaan crowd is now silent.
You can hear a pin drop over there in the New Canaan
Exactly.
section.
That was Ian. We have a 5-point game. I don't think we'd ever think that we were going to be saying this. A 5-point game.
Definitely. This game looks like a sealed deal, to be honest, at the end of the first half. But thanks to the explosive play of Mackenzie Nelson, one of the FCX best scorers, it was only a matter of time before she got hot. She misses the free throw. She's just 1 of 4 on free throws tonight. Ball is nearly stolen. The trap is coming. Afshar loses it. Open lay-in for Conforti is no good. She'll go up again. No good. 2 big missed opportunities. The ball will roll out of bounds and stay in Greenwich possession.
Ian, New Canaan had the rebound, but it looks like a little infighting in the team, and they lost that out of bounds, and Greenwich retains possession.
Let's get a second look at that and one bucket from Nelson.
McKiernan comes over, tries to swat that away, gets her on the wrist, and that's an and one opportunity that went in.
And even though they have the momentum, interesting move from Coach Chris Hernandez in this Greenwich squad as she's going to call a timeout here with her team down 5.
You know, Ian, I think that's a veteran coaching move there. She's kind of trying to set up a play to really – this might be one of the most key possessions of the game for Greenwich right here, trying to get one to go to cut this lead down even further.
Just a 5-point game, 2-14. Coach Winchester and his team is frankly just a bit stunned. Meanwhile, this Greenwich team is amped. They're confident. They're a great squad, and they're finally coming alive. They're on fire, as my producer, Cortland Parrott, just said in my ear. Couldn't say it any better.
Exactly. Well, game of the year so far, maybe, Cortland. Again, as Cortland's chiming in here, we got a great game.
Greenwich, their bomb squad's coming alive.
Exactly, Ian.
In the New Canaan High School gym. It's a back-and-forth battle, and Greenwich has had the momentum. They get it inbound on the inbound. Here's Solene. Dunn is all over her. She drives to her right, puts up the floater. It's short. They get the rebound for a moment before Quinn McKiernan gets it back for the Rams.
But they're not out of danger yet. This beautiful press from Greenwich. Oh, just as I say it, a jump ball. Who has possession?
We'll see in a moment. Charlton collided with Nelson, and in the end, it will be Nelson.
It'll be Greenwich's
and Greenwich
ball
that is rewarded with the ball.
Ian, this pressure from the full court press, trap, whatever you want to call it, has been huge for this game down the stretch.
Solene, step back deep 2, nowhere close. Afshar gets tackled from behind by Nelson.
Aggressive play, overly aggressive, almost like back in your old football days. It looked like you wrecking people on that field.
I want to tell everyone at home, Jack Hagan is being far too nice. I'm not going to lie. Mackenzie Nelson looks like the best tackler on the court right now. She's had a fantastic game. She's just taking down everyone in her
Beautiful
path.
form.
Beautiful, beautiful Seahawk tackle. A minute 46 left to go. The pressure is high for both teams. Rams have a 5-point lead. Here's Rihanna Afshar, who struggled with turnovers in the second half. Katie Dunn takes a smack in the face from Conforti. New Canaan keeps it in possession. I think they're looking for a double dribble on that Greenwich sideline. They're looking for another one as Coach Hernandez is barking for a travel. But in the end, Jane Charlton gets the bucket.
They're really letting him play today.
Coach Winchester's got the glasses off. He's in lock-in mode. 3 ball is up and no good from Riggs.
It's crunch time. Oh, another turnover.
And they get the
Nelson
bucket.
Again.
Just as it looked like New Canaan had re-solidified the lead, Mackenzie Nelson gets right back in the game, and Riggs nearly gets a steal.
If I'm Coach Winchester, I might be looking to call a timeout if he has another one because his girls are really not making smart decisions coming down the stretch.
I think he might need to call a timeout. He is. This team just can't get anything going right now on a consistent basis like they could all first half. Dunn takes a shot. This game is just becoming a back-and-forth brawl. That is going to be on Mackenzie Nelson. That's only her third foul.
Only her third.
I thought she had
more. Okay, yeah, no, I thought that could have been 4.
But she's got 3 more to give.
2.
DiMarino to inbound. High pass for Charlton. She corrals it. Looking for a pass. Just under a minute left. No shot clock.
Yep.
At the foul, it's going to be a push.
Charlton stood tall and took the push. She'll be going to the line, I believe.
That's going to be on Greenwich sophomore Kristen Riggs, and a couple of big free throws here for New Canaan.
And as you see in the replay, clearly a push with 2 hands on Jane Charlton. She's going to the line.
New Canaan is in the bonus. It's a 1-and-1 opportunity for the senior captain and the leader of this New Canaan team. What can number 33 do from the line? First shot is up, and it is no good. Critical miss. Charlton grabs her own miss, and it looks like Greenwich will get called for another foul. That's going to be on Mackenzie Nelson.
Yeah, Mackenzie Nelson again. Down the stretch, her maybe over physical play. I mean, she's putting it all on the line. You can't blame her for that, but she's picked up a plentiful amount of fouls in this 4th quarter.
Julian Conforti checks out, and checking in is Kelly Martinoff. Charlton again from the free throw line, misses another one on a 1-and-1 opportunity. Ball swung up the court to Ava Solene for 2.
Wow! Nothing but net from downtown.
Talk about the first 3 of the game being an exciting one.
And a foul.
McKiernan is clotheslined by Anderson.
Wow, Ian, the excitement is up. 37 seconds.
Your excitement is up.
Your excitement, just about everybody in this arena. Their excitement.
Not New Canaan fans.
Well, yeah.
Great 3 ball there from number 2, Julia Conforti. Actually, excuse me, not number 2. That is going to be number 1, Ava Solene. But McKiernan was clotheslined for a second, so she got fouled. She's the Rams' best free throw shooter, and she makes a critical one on the 1-and-1.
Now, if she can knock this next one down, it'll make it a 2-possession game, which really forces pressure onto Greenwich's defense and offense at this point.
She's a perfect 5 for 5 from the line tonight. She's not there. I jinxed her. But a great rebound effort from Elizabeth DiMarino. It's a jump ball, and the ref signals it will stay in New Canaan possession.
Huge right there. If the possession arrow went to Greenwich, we'd have a 3-point game and another possibility of a Greenwich 3.
It's a 3-point game, as you mentioned. Just under 35 ticks left on the clock. Afshar looking for someone, finally find the leaping Charlton. Here's Quinn McKiernan. They're looking to foul, and finally they do. Bad news, they foul the Rams' best free throw shooter. Quinn McKiernan's 5 for 6 tonight from the charity stripe.
Exactly, Ian. And with the pressure up, I'd love to see if she can make these 2 free throws and possibly put the game away, Ian.
Big moment for her here. She was a starter last year as a sophomore and obviously this year as a junior, though she's been in these big-time moments before. The Rams have no one there to rebound the ball. They're confident in McKiernan's abilities as she's now 6 for 7, and it's a 2-possession game.
You know, Ian, I've seen a couple people drop back, but I don't believe I've ever seen 4 on the opposite end of the court.
Welcome to New Canaan High School girls basketball.
But, Ian, it worked out well because she dropped 2 for 2 in.
She's a special player offensively. And that's just not – that's the one player on the court you do not want to
Exactly.
foul in
You
that
saw
situation.
Charlton earlier in the same situation. She missed both of her 1-for-1 attempts, but it was really crucial for McKiernan to really hit her last two.
This gym is almost too quiet. Greenwich has lost the momentum they had. New Canaan starting to gain some back, but still nowhere close to in the clear. It's a 5-point game with 30 seconds left to go. And if you're Greenwich, do you stick to the game plan, or how do you attack these final 30 seconds to get yourself back in this one?
I think really the only way, you can't settle for a 2-point play on either this or even if you do get another possession. I think you need to get the ball to your best player, number 45, Mackenzie Nelson. You need her to make a big shot. She hasn't really made a big shot all game yet, and this would be a great time for her to do so.
And a big shot just seconds ago from Ava Soline, fellow freshman teammate of Mackenzie Nelson, made the first three for either team in this one. That was huge to keep them in the game. It tightened the lead to 3, but McKiernan made both free throws and made it a 5-point game.
Exactly, Ian. And if they do come down here and get the basket, look to see a harsh Greenwich full court ride, full court pressure in order to get that ball back and try to score more points.
Rihanna Afshar, that is, has had a bit of turnover trouble when the Rams have presented that full court press, when the Cardinals have presented that full court press.
She is the point guard, but if I'm Greenwich, I'm looking to say she hasn't made the best decisions down the stretch in this game. I'm saying give her the ball. Let's try to trap her, see if she can force up a bad pass.
Greenwich has to move in a hurry here. 28 seconds and counting. Here is Riggs spinning away from Charlton, nearly losing it as Charlton dives for the ball. Good pass down low, fastball pass, going up for the hook shot, and getting called for the travel is Kayla Anderson. The sophomore makes a huge mental error there, looking to get the hook shot up, and she took an extra step. Dunn looking to elude the foul, and finally she will get fouled with 14.3 left. These are a couple of big free throws that could put the struggle right now.
Don't worry.
Could put the game away for New Canaan.
You know what, Ian? And what surprised me at first until I really thought it through, they put Jane Charlton to pressure that ball up the court. The more you think about it, and possibly an All-American for lacrosse this year, she really has great footwork and great defense, shutting down that drive of Greenwich. Really taking a lot of time off the clock as well.
Dunn gets the first free throw to go, and with a second, she can make it a 3-possession game in a sense, unless we have an and 1 3-pointer. This would be huge and would pretty much seal the deal, most likely down the stretch. And she sinks it, the senior, ice in the veins, both her and Quinn McKiernan.
Before the game started, we didn't really talk about Katie Dunn being one of the key factors in this game, but
open 3 for Solis. Keeps them in the game, but the clock keeps running.
Wow.
And that is going to be your ball game.
Ian, to continue my point, obviously a great game, but Katie Dunn had maybe a career-defining game for her.
And that is going to be your ball game. Everyone on this New Canaan team is excited, except a perfectionist and a great coach in John Winchester, who's probably going to have a lot to say to his team after this one. But regardless, a win is a win.
And now,
a huge one for New Canaan.
We're going to get a couple fourth-quarter highlights here. Obviously, a lot of fast breaks and a lot of nice layups from Nelson. And there, a big shot, puts in the 2. And, yeah, just a really well-done job by New Canaan and just a great game. Thanks for being here with me, Jack Hagan, and Ian Nicholas. Yeah, thank you.
Well, before we finish this up, we have a few more highlights to go, actually. We had a lot of action in that fourth quarter. We had Mackenzie Nelson got a nice shot up there. And, again, she was really the driving force for this comeback. She was the player they needed to be hot to end this game. Here's Charlton. And she didn't have the biggest impact in this one. She didn't get called for a travel there.